The myth of cost push inflation, blaming inflation on energy, on supermarkets, on businesses is something that is often repeated precisely when inflation comes and starts to bite on consumers and on businesses. The reality is that inflation is a monetary phenomenon. 1, 2, maybe 3 prices may rise because of exogenous factors, because of war even, but the reality is that all prices do not rise in unison for the same quantity of money. If the amount of currency in the system would be limited or at least the same, what we would see is that 1, 2, 3 prices may rise, but others would fall. All prices do not rise in unison if it isn't for a rising amount of currency in the system. And inflation comes with a lag. So the problem of creating inflation is that it is relatively simple. The problem of curbing inflation is that it takes a lot longer. We have an added difficulty, which is that governments are unwilling to reduce government spending. So if you have rate hikes and increasing money supply remains elevated, but governments continue to spend like there's no tomorrow, the reality is that the entire burden of the normalization of monetary policy falls on the private sector. Rate hikes do not cause recessions. What causes recessions is the excess created in the periods of massive liquidity injections. Liquidity injections are printing money, and rate cuts. By putting rates at negative real levels and nominal as well, by increasing massively the amount of currency in the system, you basically also add an enormous level of imbalances in the economy. Those come back to bite with the smallest rate hike, precisely because of the elevated and bloated levels of indebtedness that some sectors have. So, rate hikes do not cause recessions. Rate cuts and liquidity injections do create the basis for what afterwards becomes a recession, the hangover from an excess. Inflation is a monetary phenomenon. Inflation in the Eurozone is above 8%, whilst it is slightly above 3% in Switzerland. They have the same conditions. We have seen that freight rates, commodities, have been correcting all throughout the year into since March until now. Freight rates are now in negative territory, the Baltic Dry Index. We have aluminum, copper, numerous commodities falling to negative levels year on year. Oil prices, gas prices are coming down, yet core inflation remains elevated, and the level of price rises in the things that we purchase on a daily basis and the things that are non-replicable goods remains a big problem. This was a problem prior to COVID, and this remains a problem today. Inflation is more units of currency going to the same number of goods and services. And inflation is the loss of purchasing power of the currency, not price increases. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, leave your comments below, and keep defending freedom. Thank you very much.